Okay, I can bring this down a little bit. I'm a little shorter than Booker, if you may not have recognized. All right. First of all, of course, I'd like to thank the organizers of this forum. I'd like to thank all of the special guests here from the embassy, from the Iran, from Algeria, from Venezuela. Certainly, Kenya, Na Palestine. We'd like to certainly thank them for being the root of Quds Day here in Kenya. And we would like to thank them for their organizing of this day, as well as we'd like to thank all those who are commemorating Quds Day around the world. We want to thank them for their work and for the founders of this beautiful Solidarity Day. We want to bring you first, of course, our gratitude and thanks and greetings from the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, which I am a member. As he said, my name is Sebukwe Shakur. I'm one of the organizers of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. We would like to take a minute just to remember the tremendous courage and dignity that the Palestinian children, women, and men showed us in the March of Return. They showed us what it means to be alive. They remind me of the struggles that took place in Sharpeville and in Soweto when Africans faced the same kind of tanks and missiles and machine guns with nothing in their hands but rocks, and sometimes not even that. We, the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, want to remind everyone from our inception that we have always, in 1968 when the All-African People's Revolutionary Party was founded, we have always been in solidarity with the Palestinian people. We're really honored to be here today. We're honored to be asked to participate, to help sponsor this program. But for us, when we're asked, we know that it's more than just us saying yes, because it's our responsibility as a Pan-African party to defend the history of our struggle against Zionism. A common enemy. We're clear, our struggle is not just solidarity with the Palestinian people against Zionism. Zionism is a direct enemy of African people. Africa has been fighting against Zionism for a very long time. Understand that Africa was the first continent to pass a resolution in the Organization of African Unity, now called the African Union, against Zionism, against Israel. We were clear. We call it an unholy alliance. The alliance that the Zionist state of Israel had with Rhodesia, the settler state of Rhodesia and Southern Africa at the time. We realized that state was giving arms, as my comrade said earlier, to kill our children, to kill our fighters, to kill our people in South Africa. So Zionism, from its inception, has been an enemy of African people. If you remember, Zionism, before it became a state, had planned with the British imperialism to take land in Africa, in East Africa, in this region. It has been an enemy of us when it became a state, and it attacked Egypt and the surrounding people. Egypt is still in Africa. It has always been an enemy of African people. Not only did we, as an African continent, pass the first resolution against Zionism, we also were the ones, many of us, who sponsored the resolution that took place in 1975, calling Zionism racism. Many of the sponsors, 8 of the sponsors, I believe, were African countries. Algeria, of course, was one of them. Guinea-Conakry, Sudan, Somalia, even Morocco at that time. We had to reserve other discussions about Morocco. But many of these states are the ones who pushed forward the resolution of Zionism is racism. Understand now, when the partition of Palestine took place, it took place at a time where there are less than 5 independent African entities in the world that were a part of it. It took place in a time when most of the members of the so-called United Nations were imperialist nations who had colonies. That's when this petition took place. So it was only natural that they would support Zionism, an imperialist project, other imperialists. But by 1975, there was a new crop of independent African states and Asian states that had broke the yoke of colonialism, Caribbean states. So they were powerful enough. They were powerful enough to pass in 1975 the resolution, Zionism is racism. As I said, we have to be clear that Zionism has always and continues to be an enemy of African people. And we have a responsibility to continue to fight it. When we have to fight it, understand that it's not just an enemy of Africans on the African continent. Many of you don't know, and many of us don't know, that Zionism trained imperialist forces, terrorist forces, right-wing forces all throughout the so-called Americas. In Brazil, in Colombia, and Guatemala, they have helped to train death squads that have killed our people. Hundreds and thousands of Africans and indigenous people in the Western Hemisphere have been killed by Zionism. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to not to betray our legacy. The legacy that our people have put forth. The legacy of Mandela, the Mandelas, Winnie and Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, Elizabeth Sebekwe. I know that they're shouting at us from their grave. Malcolm X, Kwame Touré are telling us, they're shouting at us that we better take a stand against all of these traitors who are starting to try to get in bed with Zionism. When we see Tanzania, and we see Uganda, and we see Rwanda, and we see all of these countries in this region going to celebrate the opening of an illegal mosque and Zionist-held Israel, we know that our people are being betrayed. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to stop that. Our responsibility is to stop that. In 1991, because I know I only have a minute or so left. In 1991, the All-African People's Revolutionary Party in Libya, with other members of Pan-African organizations, formed an organization called the Worldwide African Anti-Zionist Front. It included members from the Caribbean, African organizations from the Caribbean, from the United States, from the African continent. Unfortunately, today, it is inactive. It is time to reignite across the African diaspora and the African continent a worldwide African anti-Zionist front. It is time again for the African continent to take the lead. Everywhere in the world right now, and even the settler colony of the United States, the BDS movement, the boycott, divestiture, and sanction movement is taking off. But here on the African continent, we don't see it. We see it in Southern Africa. But what is the responsibility of Africa? Again, the one who led the way in attacking and helping to start the destruction of Zionism. We have to take the lead again. We must boycott any relationship, any sporting relationship, any entertainment relationship, any economic relationship with the Zionist entity known as Israel. This is our responsibility. We cannot allow our people who gave their blood, who led the way in the struggle against Zionism, to be disappointed in us. So thank you again from the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, and we will look forward to working with any organizations who are serious about not just saying death to Zionism, but bringing death to Zionism.